When you look at the situation, even now the stormwater drain is nearly full. Another spell of rainfall as we speak, it's raining. Do you really see, a permanent solution to these problems?
See, definitely any problem has its own solution. But unfortunately, the priorities of the state government is missing. When entire Bangalore city has come to standstill due to heavy rains, state government, chief minister and its cabinet colleagues, they are busy in celebrating 2 years completion at Hospet. See, people are totally there in big distress. Because of heavy rains yesterday, people are suffering and 3 deaths has taken place yesterday. Rather than visiting the Bangalore city, Chief Minister is busy in Hospet celebrating 2 years completion. The issue here is whatever development work that was carried out during BJP government, due to the non-payment to the contractors, the work has stopped. You can look at the area here. Yesterday, water was blocked because all the drainage and the water passage has completely blocked because since contractors have not received the payment, the work is not totally incomplete. From last 1.5 years, the work has not been carried out. So, Deputy Chief Minister, I demand Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, rather than talking about Greater Bangalore, he should address the real issues here in Bangalore city.
Basically, we have now seen that after these heavy rains in last 2 days, which is about close to 100 mm, average of 86 across most places, we have had major complaints in two locations only. And these some of them have been identified for some time. Of course, the number of people affected are huge in case of Silkboard. Silkboard also, the problem has been only for an hour or so in the mornings, and whenever it rains, maybe an hour. But of course, because a large volume of traffic here, it gets disrupted. We will look for a permanent solution.
All right, well, to talk more about this annual crisis that Bengaluru sees, we're now joined by Deepak Timaya, spokesperson of the Congress party. And your response to what the BJP is saying, that, people are suffering, there's been waterlogging, people have had to leave their homes. However, the Congress is busy celebrating its 2 years in power.
See, the rains don't come by announcing, but this program was announced quite in advance. And let me tell you that I don't understand why the BJP wants the guarantees to fail, the social impact programs to fail, the social welfare programs to fail, the steel bridge to be cancelled, the tunnel to be, written off the planning books. I don't understand that what exactly they have. When you take care of some small problems, they're talking about the bigger problems. When you take care of the bigger problems, they talk about something else. Let me tell you, Bangalore just doesn't belong to the Congress leaders or to the BJP leaders. And most of the people who are talking about this in the BJP forget conveniently that in most of the places where they are having problem, it is their own MLAs who have been absolutely apathetic towards about the problems, and these problems have been there even during the BJP times and the JDS times and also now the Congress time. And let me tell you, the Congress is seriously thinking about it, and we are looking at radically, correcting a lot of issues. But let me tell you, if at all it rains beyond somebody's imagination, for instance, day before it's rained for about 5 hours, yesterday for 5 hours, yesterday afternoon, this kind of rain, no government can just, wish, can be, sorted with just one administrative decision. This takes a humongous action, and I'm sure that even Bangalore BBMP is not just prepared. I was just looking at AccuWeather, which yesterday, one of the politicians was talking about, and I'm telling you, they are not talking about it. It's just some thunderstorms. They are not saying that it's 100 mm rain. How can you even imagine that, it's rained like mad yesterday? Okay.
All right. Well, we also have Dr. Lakshmi Gowda with us, BJP spokesperson. Ma'am, your response to what Deepak Timaya is saying, and be whoever is in charge of Bengaluru or the state, the people of Bangalore deserve better.
Yes, ma'am, exactly. The present Congress dispensation is so much anemic to the development and welfareism. There is so much myopic vision about Bengaluru, and they come to the power promising brand Bengaluru, but they've severely reneged on their promises in doing. forget about brand Bengaluru, in fulfilling the basic civic issues. They failed as a state. But they have announced the clearing of encroachments of water bodies and Rajakaul instead of announcing the Akrama Sakrama, instead of denouncing the Akrama Sakrama scheme, and that too they've announced it very late. And it all shows anemic and myopic action, and they don't have any vision about development of the Bengaluru. Yeah, I agree that it is one should about the party politics in solving the civic issues and in making a brand Bengaluru, and they should not adhering to the party politics. They should not involve in the party politics, and it is high time for them to realize the calamities and their after effects, and to at least to think about the proper planning of the Bengaluru.
All right, Deepak Timaya, your response to that. And the monsoon has not even begun, and this is the state of Bengaluru, and it's a city where so many of our tech industry work and startup industry work, and to deal with this sort of situation year after year. I agree it's in one part of Bengaluru. However, this is something the government really needs to solve, because these are not the kind of images one wants to see coming out of Bengaluru.
It's not about the image, please, that you've been watching what's happening in America and Colorado and other states with the tornadoes. Tornadoes have been happening for thousands of years. And are you saying that the American government doesn't, think about, what to do about tornadoes? Because nobody can predict when you're going to have tornadoes, which house it's going to rip out. And, you can't have, tornado-proof houses in spite of, thinking about it for thousands of years.
All right, but here we want houses that don't get flooded with water. We want houses that don't get flooded with water, where the storm drains work, where they've been desilted in time.
These people have been having problem with the Greater Bengaluru, but Greater Bengaluru at least is going to bring most of these revenue layouts to book. Because when these people were closing their eyes and benefiting from the revenue layouts which are haphazardly being, put together, where, there was no rule, there was no construction, there was rules, there was no plan sanction, and these people, most of these areas where these BJP MLAs are sitting, that, if you come and see, why don't you investigate? And if it has happened, at least with Greater Bengaluru, that all these people will be brought to book.
Really, I think that the people, would want you to get beyond the politics. And, Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin, it's also the BJP's responsibility for years. You've also ruled Karnataka and Bengaluru, and the kind of development that's come on low-lying areas. That's why we're seeing this result of flooding with just, some water, with heavy rainfall every time it gets flooded.
Let me tell you, the parties have to come together.
Right, let Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin answer that. Yes.
Ma'am, there has always been an unholy nexus between the politicians, industrialists, and these builders, and that nexus should be broken, ma'am. Unless the party, as I've already told you, irrespective of the party lines, irrespective of the party comes to the power, the politicians should really concentrate on the development and welfareism rather than lucrative activities, rather than having a unholy nexus with the civil evil elements. So I urge, and we should all rise above the party politics. And for that, we need to have a futuristic and visionary plan about Bengaluru. Like a master plan should be prepared and upgraded, and with all the zones identified and maintained. And second one, the lake should be revived and utilized as prime sources of drinking water. And laws should be enforced stringently, and officials punished for violating norms and clearing the projects. And we should be very much strict on that. We should leave no stone unturned.
All right, well, I'm very happy to hear you say that, and I really hope, parties can work towards giving the people, the citizens of Bengaluru, a better city to live in. Thank you so much, Deepak Timaya and Dr. Lakshmi Gowda. They're talking to us about the flooding that is being seen in Bengaluru, and now the politics breaking out over this.